next, we got fellow Indian Canadian brother and KB Bhullar going up against the Greek Andreas Michailidis, and both these guys have pretty interesting UFC experiences so far, right? I felt like KB Bhullar had a lot of opportunity to fight last year, but injuries to himself, pulled out fights, things like that with other fighters. We only got to see him once, and it was against a guy like Tom Breeze, who's definitely making a second coming right now in the UFC and looked absolutely phenomenal, right? That jab that he landed on KB Bhullar dropped him completely. And frankly, before that, it looked like Tom Breeze's striking is at a new level here. Health-wise, he looked absolutely insane. So I think that was a tough fight from KB Bhullar from the get-go. One thing I really liked about it in terms of size and length, he's got the ability to land those kicks he loves. Maybe throw with a bit more volume and speed. I think that in this fight, he's got that a bit more on his side. Watch out for those spinning attacks, because I think Andreas Michailidis, from an overall striking perspective, I think he's kind of wild and crazy. And he loves these spinning kicks. If you go back and watch tape on him, every single fight is just spinning kick here, spinning kick there. And for me, I'm always like questioning kicks, because, even if you go do a kicking workout right now and see what's worse, shadow boxing or doing a kickboxing workout, because throwing kicks can get tiring. And for me, it's, unless you're really good at them and can manage, your energy for 3 rounds, I think they're really, really, a tough thing to throw. That's why leg kicks, calf kicks, these are the best options. They can take away a power leg from another fighter, and you can kind of incorporate them into your game to attack the body and attack the low attacks. So for me, those are the things that I would kind of watch out for. And in this case, you got 2 guys that are kind of slower style, pick their spots, throw a lot of kicks, not a lot of crazy good combos, and I think at least they match up well that way, which makes this fight a bit closer than maybe some might give credit to. And I'm trying to think of a favorite, and I really would have to go with Michailidis just based on power and experience, things like that. And, the one thing about KB Bhullar is, he comes out of a Canadian camp that actually does have really good, UFC up-and-comers like Tanner Boser, who just took a setback against Andrei Arlovski, not a big issue, right? So that's where I think like their relationship, he talked about how his relationship with Tanner Boser is what kind of sparked the fuel again for him, and how his accounting job wasn't really what he wanted to be doing. And Tanner Boser, like, what are you doing with your life? Let's go here. Let's take this more seriously and see what we can do. And so I think with all of that in mind, you have KB Bhullar, who's trying to make those dreams come true with probably pressures of the rest of his life, trying to say, is this something you really want to get into? And I'm really excited to see if he can put something together against a fighter where, let's be honest, like Tom Breeze is such a battle-tested veteran, and what he brought to the table in that fight, especially what he, was trying to make a comeback fight. I mean, it's a tough fight for KB Bhullar to take, a guy who was actually supposed to be more of a contender series type of fighter, but beating a guy like Matt Dwyer kind of gave him an edge, even though Matt Dwyer was on a bit of a losing streak himself, kind of gave him the edge to push into the UFC. So, now he's getting that chance a bit quicker than some, John Jones-esque, if you will, but at the same time, Andreas Michailidis now is going to present a bit more of a tougher task, another great kicker. And I think that if this fight hits the ground and things like that, he should have the ability to kind of overpower KB Bhullar. Now, in terms of a path to success, if KB Bhullar is able to kind of control his energy, wait out that first round, I think that the energy levels of Andreas, that's proven to be an issue for him, might work in a KB's favor, right? You can go into the 3rd round, maybe not take too much damage. Even if you're up against the clinch a lot in, say, that 2nd round, by halfway, you can maybe work in some of your own game there to steal that round, and maybe take away that 3rd for a good decision win. It's going to be tough to kind of dictate a fight where maybe you're used to finishing guys at smaller promotions here in Canada, things like that. This is going to be one where people are probably expecting Andreas Michailidis to finish this fight. So, I'm not sure what the odds are going to look like. Let's take a look right now quickly. And wow. Okay. So KB Bhullar sitting at a plus 200 right now from what I'm seeing at a -1 as a -250 favorite for Michailidis. I think that's a pretty intense line. When you look at some of the ways that Michailidis can lose the fight, I'm kind of curious to see how this fight plays out outside the first round. If KB Bhullar can withstand some of that damage. We talk about it, in the past, Michailidis's, debut against Buskauskas, like, he was kind of finished with those Travis Brown elbows and tried to make a point that it was illegal shots, but as he tried to get up, he couldn't, fell right out of the cage as his trainer came to help him. How ironic is that? But, falling out of the cage is automatically gets you out of your fight. Referee couldn't let it go on. That was a Bukauskas win. And now he comes into this fight against the guy with good length, good kicks. And I think that's going to be something similar that he fought against Bukauskas and has an opportunity to rectify that loss. But, it's obviously not a makeup fight. I do think that these lines, they are kind of itching a bit closer at some places with the plus 180. But I mean, for KB Bhullar to open as a plus 155 and see the line kind of go down from there with Andreas Michailidis going all the way from a minus 180 to a minus 250. I mean, I think the difference there in style and just overall prowess is going to play a role. But again, energy, cardio, as fights go on is the biggest thing. And I think if KB can manage that and withstand that storm early, you could be looking at a surprise win here.